to qualifying Heat E versus F for the senior category. That is coming up next, and this time around it'll be Australia and Sweden on the front row for this one. Pip Casabene
to this point. I should note as well that all the cards are running messages of support for everybody affected by the floods in Valencia, and our thoughts are with everybody here in Zuera. Anthony, let's have a look at the grid.
Oh, yes, indeed. Good you're remembering that one, because I nearly forgot. Pip Casabene of Australia on the front row of the grid. They'll have Maximilian Bostrom alongside. Timo Ramikas and Clovis Nugarade on row number 2. Roxanne Lantinga and Marcus Glum on row 3. Fernando Luca and Elia Weiss go from row 4. They'll have Alphonse Mittinen and Aaron Cavillo on row number 5. Austin Gale and Ruben Moya go from row number 6. William Thompson, another Australian, goes alongside Luca Montebello on row 7. They'll have Diogo Castro and Riccardo Ferrari on row 8. Jacob Mikolev and Michael Gray round out the top 18 on row number 9.
Miguel Silva and Hugo Marti go from row number 10. Kyo Lee and Matthias van der Kerkhoff start on row 11. Martin Wallström and Martin Yanis go on the 12th row of the grid. Jesse Saarinen from Finland is joined by Aaron Garcia on row 13. From the 14th row of the grid, Kyle Machea starts alongside Carl Mikolev. That's an all Maltese row 14. Caden McQueen and Sam Branston for Croc Promotions go on row 15. Nico Villa and from France, the 314 Mattis Omerta start on row 16. Thomas Hansen and Jin Tian start on row 17. I know it's only the second heat of the whole race week, Anthony, but this is a stacked grid.
It is.
We talked about the top 2 rows already, but you've got Ruben Moya on row 6. Aaron Garcia back on row 13. That is not where you'd expect Aaron Garcia to be at the start before qualifying. Yes, they Caden McQueen as well. Kyo Lee, the FIA World Cup winner in the OKN category earlier on in the autumn. Riccardo Ferrari as well on row number 8.
I am a Euro Series 1 in French Quarter, yeah.
Very, very strong drivers. Now we're going to see, for those drivers who did not have the best of qualifyings yesterday, will they race through? You can overtake around this circuit. It's a great circuit for overtaking. I know we talk a lot about the pit straight, but you've got opportunity into turn 4, turns 5 and 6, and of course we've also seen down into past Marshall Post 6 already in the first race. You can make double overtakes into there. This should be a good one.
It should be a good one. Well, let's see what happens then as we're heading to the tram lines. The field's a bit spread out at the back there. Are we going around? I believe we are. I've got no green lights on my screen. It is a false start, so a little bit eager to get going there. The pace was very, very strong there. The back of the grid just not formed up with the front. And yes, indeed, our race director calling that one a false start, sending them round once more. Any more of those, they might be in a bit of trouble, but for now, that's only their first one.
Absolutely, a bit more time for the drivers to get a little bit of heat into their tyres, but again, it's still pretty chilly here. It's 7 degrees.
It's not getting warmer.
It's not getting warmer. I think the saving grace for everybody here at the circuit is at least it's not too windy.
Oh, do you know what? I was really hoping you weren't going to say the R word there.
No. We're not going to say the R word at all this week. But for those not aware about Zuera, watching back home, we're almost sat on a bit of a plateau here, quite high up, but it does mean that the wind can whip across this circuit. We saw that back in our visit for IAMA Euro Series in March. Thankfully, that is not happening at the moment. Otherwise, I don't think we would see the grandstands as full as we are right now. Everyone would be huddling somewhere for warmth.
Yes, indeed. In terms of circuits that we've visited in the IAMA calendars over the season, this one I think is one of the highest circuits on the calendar in terms of elevation, altitude for us here. And you can see there in the background the beautiful hills in the background there as the drivers into the tram lines. Are we good this time around? We are indeed. We are racing. Pip Casabene trying to hold on to the lead, but they're cold tyres. No grip whatsoever, and for the rest of them as well, there's a big contact into the barriers there, and Marshall's on the scene promptly to try and help out there. And look at the disaster that struck there. You've got MDCs in there. I think you've got a premium karting in there as well. We'll try and figure out the full list of drivers there going very slowly. It's a 344. That's Thomas Hansen going slowly. There's multiple drivers that have been involved in that incident there. And I think it starts, I think Riccardo Ferrari's one of them, but Michael Gray, I think, is one MDC. Aaron Garcia was one. Sam Branston, I think, was one. And Tianjin from Greece is another that's gone off the track there. But eyes on the front row, Thibaut Ramekers, that start was exactly what he needed. He managed to squeeze through because Pip Casabene had no temperature in those front tyres whatsoever, and he understeered nearly straight off the circuit.
Nothing at all. And the other good piece of news, as I think we've got a slow procedure out for the drivers, it's kept Ramekers out of trouble, because there was a second incident later on in the lap that has demoted the likes of Maxi Bergström, as that is Aaron Garcia walking away, obviously looking very disappointed indeed. I know it's only the first round of heats, Anthony, but that is not good news for one of the early favourites. Did not have a good qualifying yesterday, for the hope of getting through the cut-offs, through into the super heats later on in the weekend and the final. If you're starting in the second half of the field, you need to be consistently 10, 15, 20 positions being gained across the course of every single one of these heats. That is a setback on top of another setback for Aaron Garcia, but also in a bit of bother on that first lap. Clovis Nugared also didn't get through unscathed on that first lap, has lost 20 positions. Elliot Weiss down 18, Maxi Bergström down 25 positions.
Yeah.
I think going, but is down in 31st place. So, as I say, on that side for Ramekers, he was able to just nip in underneath, break away. And yes, he's going to have to do all that work again once we go back to green.
Oh, now I've just spotted that nose cone is almighty low there on Ramekers' kart. I think he's got a drop nose already at the start of this. So we were thinking maybe it was cold tyres. I wonder if we could see the start of that race again as they go into turn one, because of course Pip Casabene very wide, as there unfortunately is Riccardo Ferrari running in the Zanchi Motorsport colours out of this race, the winner of the IAMA Euro Series round in Franciacorta earlier on in this year in drastically different and much warmer conditions than what we've got right now. But that was a very frantic start there. So let's have a look. Look on the left-hand side of the grid. Now, does his head go backwards here? No, there's not much in terms of anything there. So again, it just sees he just runs out wide, and Ramekers able to go through. There was the start. My goodness, that was a big hit into the wall. And of course, all the mechanics are there, and they all stand on ladders there because they try to get over the fence, and they're very lucky that they're all okay as well. Here's another look of that. Just shows how many karts actually went off the track there at turn number one. But straight away, drama in the opening, or the second opening race of the weekend. And I'm thinking that our current race leader is potentially looking at a post-race 5-second time penalty purely for that nose cone that looks to me like has already come off its bracket. There it is.
Oh yeah, all the
as much temperature as they can into those tyres, because again, it's so cold here right now, and it's going to be the main talking point throughout the course of this weekend, I think, just how cold it is. I mean, we're northern Spain, it's late November, we're going into December, it's winter time here in Spain, and it does get colder than this here. Trust me, at night time it gets very, very low in terms of the temperatures, but that means everything just stays just that little bit wet on the grass. Nothing's going to get dry at this moment, so it's just going to be one of those very tricky weekends. Here we go then into the final corner for the restart of this second qualifying heat. E versus F. Ramekers leads the way from Roxanne Lantinga as we go green and racing once more down in towards turn number one, and this time the tyres have the temperature and they can get through turn one absolutely flat out this time around. Ramekers from Lantinga, Glum from Casabene, Miettinen are there in the top five, but no changes in that top five as they all try to close in the background. There was that Fernando Luca, who was just not getting the turn in there. It was tripoding through the corner, the rear wheel getting lifted up, just had no temperature in those tyres still.
And it means that for Martin Wallström, that's another position gained for the Talvar Racing's Finnish driver. 17, 18 places gained indeed for Martin Wallström. Also out there, this was mainly off the initial start. Caden McQueen's gained 16 places, is up to P13, and Jesse Saarinen is the Finns on the move at the moment, up 10 places into the top 15. Back at the front of the order, coming round to complete lap number 5. And it is your race leader, Roxanne Lantinga. Nice qualifying from Roxanne yesterday. Went with something a little bit different. Didn't try and do anything with a slipstream, didn't try to overcomplicate it, just went out there and put good laps in. That has given Roxanne these good starting positions. Now we start to see what the race pace is like for Roxanne in the 250, and it's looking pretty good at this moment.
Certainly is, holding the front of this field right now and getting past, you know, Ramikas, who's a quick pilot in the world of karting, is well known in the categories. Marcus Glum there as well, all sticking together again. It just shows that, you know, the pace is strong, the pace is quick, because the lap times that they're doing is very, very strong indeed. But again, they're just trying to think long-term in the races right now, just get these karts to the end of this. But Roxanne Lantinga doing a brilliant job at the front here as more retirements. William Thompson, unfortunately, one of Australia's hopes, out of this first qualifying heat of the weekend. And yeah, he will go right to the bottom of the list. I think Thomas Hansen and Kyo Lee had a bit of a moment on that last lap as well. They've dropped down to 28th and 29th on the grid. They were running a little higher up in the order, and they tumbled down on that last lap, but they are still running in this race. Eyes on Martin Wallström. Yeah, those 18 positions gained. He's in P5. He's in that second group of karts that are just coming through as these two continue to try and push away from the rest. Ramikas is in damage control mode at the moment now, because if he notices his nose cone, he needs to know that he needs to break away by 5 seconds from the rest. And at this moment in time, a 5-second post-race would put him down in 14th place. So he does not want that.
No, he doesn't at all. It's almost a bit of a time trial for the young Belgian right now. There's a warning flag out for the 204 of Clovis Nougaret, who's had a very good season, both nationally and internationally. He's one of the top drivers in IAME Series. France over the line once again, completing lap number 7. Lantinga leads from Ramikas on the road by less than 1/10 of a second. Marcus Gloom still there in 3rd. That was a good turn of pace from the top 3. 1 minute 3.3 for Lantinga compared to that second group behind her, who are all in the 1 minute 3.8s, 0.9s. So that's good news as through goes Ramikas into the lead on the road. Lantinga's going to respond straight back down the inside with a nice move there. Ruben Moyer's on the move as well for one of the home favourites here at Zweira. Has gained 5 places, was a little bit unlucky yesterday. I think there was some tactics going on out there in the particular qualifying group that Ruben Moyer was in. He kind of got shuffled to the front of a pack, had no slipstream, no help at all. Was in the end, I don't think it was part of the plan for Ruben Moyer, but he was effectively giving a slipstream to others. But the race pace is definitely there for the Spaniard. He's on 7th place.
Yes, indeed. Last lap board coming out then, this time to the drivers, and you can see there that Marcus Glum just tucking in as much as he can, trying to close in here, but here comes Ramikas, and Roxanne Lantinga down the inside at turn number 2, claims that position. No fight between the two of them as they try and focus, but that does allow Glum to close in and gives him an opportunity. Here's Roxanne Lantinga, runs a little bit wide there at the exit of turns 2 and 3, and is now under pressure from Glum, who's going to try and force a move down the inside, maybe through this long sweeping left-hander. Now you've got the infield straight into the hairpin. This is where we see those overtakes, but Glum's backed off now. He's not going to go for it. He's going to stay there in 3rd place. So this looks good. Pip Casabene still holding on to P4 right now. Wallström, brilliant race from Wallström, who's there in P5, up an astonishing amount of positions, pushing his way through. but this is what you want from the front runners. Question mark over that nose cone for Ramekers, but he's going to start this first race of the day, winning it on track. But will it be on paper? Across the line, it is the Belgian taking his first win of the weekend on circuit ahead of Roxanne Lantinga. Marcus Glum finishing in third place ahead of Casabene. Ruben Moya finishing in P5 ahead of Wallström. Then it's Luca from Mittinen, Mikalev from Cavillo, rounding out the top 10. But yeah, question mark on that one, and hopefully our eyes and ears down in Parc Ferme, Nicole Sutherland, will give us an update on that nose cone. But looking at it, it's dragging on the floor, and it doesn't look like it's set properly there.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We'll keep an eye on those official results. If there is a 5-second penalty for Ramekers, it would drop him down to P10. Caden McQueen, great drive, up 18 spots to 11th. Austin Gale, Matthias van der Kerkhoff, Miguel Silva and Diego Castro all in the top 15. Decent starts for them. Luca Montebello, Kyle Marcher in 17th place. Good drive there from the Maltese driver. Up 10, Martin Yanis, Hugo Marti and Maxi Bergström all in the top 20. Elia Weiss down 13 spots. Was one of the drivers who had problems on lap 1. Mathis Ometier starts the day in 22nd place. Michael Gray, P23. Clovis Nugared, not the kind of race that he would want, P24. Nico Via, P25. Kyle Mikalev, Jesse Saarinen, Thomas Hansen, the last of the 28 finishers in that one. A number of retirements, most of them early on in the race, but some big ones. Keo Lee didn't see the end of that race, P29. William Thompson, Ricardo Ferrari, Aaron Garcia, Sam Branston and Jin Tian, all with work to do when we get to the second round of heats.